Hey everybody, it's Tuesday. We're up here at the Two Fish Technology Studios, and we've got Josh Knighton with us. Josh, how you doing today?
Doing great.
Happy Memorial Day. I hope you enjoyed yours.
Yeah, it was great.
Really, the first thing we want to do is wish everyone a happy Memorial Day, and especially our Gold Star families. We take serious the effort that our military puts out. And for those who gave everything they had, we thank you, and we thank our Gold Star families and Gold Star spouses for the sacrifice that everyone has given. So
it's a few people willing to stand on the wall and protect us so that we can do stuff like this. So absolutely,
so that we can live our life and be able to go to church and not have any worry that we're going to be hauled out and thrown in jail for serving our Lord. So we're going to change up, and we're going to start talking about some business verticals. And the first one we're going to talk about is dental health services, orthodontist, dentist, maxillofacial surgery offices. Josh, your wife is a dental hygienist, former dental hygienist. You probably are like a farmer in that aspect. You probably never actually retire from being a dental hygienist. You either just got your hands in somebody's mouth or not.
She just renewed her license actually, so maybe one day she'll get back into it, but we just, we got an 18-month-old, so she's staying home with her right now. It's been good. So that's it. Kind of sparked a passion for me for dental offices, because we took over the dental office that she was at when we were dating, and then married, and then she moved offices to a general dentist. She was doing pediatrics, and so we took care of that pediatric office, and then we took over the general dentistry office, and then now we have quite a few dental offices that we're taking care of. So we really like the dental vertical. We like medical in general, but dental, and I'll say, like, my wife really took the time to show me, and some of the dentists that we worked with when I first started Two Fish, to literally just walk me around the office, show me all the equipment, show me what everything does, how everything works, show me the software, the back end of and there's multiple, practice management kind of pieces, but we're pretty familiar with most of them at this point. And like I said, I've had just really good partners and customers and doctor friends that have been willing to show, just kind of lift up the kilt a little bit and show me how everything works, which is a huge benefit.
Well, I would think that'd be a huge benefit if your MSP or your security provider doesn't know how everything works together. How can they be on top of making sure that your EDR is working the way it should in this area of the business or that area of the business? Something what hit me, and I never really thought about it, but it makes perfect common sense, is the amount of backup data that these offices need to have and are using daily, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the now with 3D imaging and the big pano, deals where you have to stand there and the thing goes around your head.
Or they have the wand that they run through your mouth.
Yeah, those all of those images are stored and backed up. That's medical records, so we have to keep up with it and keep it safe. So, we've gotten really good with that stuff. So,
and the medical records, that jumps into our HIPAA discussion. And so, really, these dental offices, medical offices, I mean, security has to be a pillar in their processes and in their thoughts. So, I don't know where I need to go with this. I'm looking for you to kind of help us understand which topics we need to dive into.
Yeah.
And this is really a first introductory episode for the topic, so walk us through some of this.
I think we'll start with just the story of our latest dental office that we onboarded. So it's actually an endodontist, and the doctor was at a big conglomerate in split off and started his own practice, and they just moved from South Texas up here, and they hired a company from Dallas to do the wiring and the setup and all of that kind of stuff. And but I got the chance to meet them when they were here, just because they needed internet and phones and security, and
They needed to build their office
they needed
technology.
everything. Yeah, not just the computers. And I think that was one of kind of the main distinctions right off the bat between what we do and what that office in Dallas did, or the IT company in Dallas did. They did a great job on the install. Everything looked really good, but just the way that they were backing up all the data, the way that they had the login set up on the computers, just all of that stuff. We just take a simpler approach, I think, that still checks all the boxes that you need. You're HIPAA compliant, you have your backups, you have all of that kind of stuff, the data redundancy, all the things that are important, but we just took a completely different approach to it. So we came in and tried to, take over the IT stuff. They were kind enough to send us, logins and all of that. We spent about 40 hours just kind of unwinding stuff that they had done that was completely unnecessary, and added a lot of complication to what the practice was having to do. Everyone from the front desk to the doctor, their process was way more complicated than it needed to be.
Yeah.
Just to log in or take a intraoral, just like a bite wing or an X-ray. We just made everything a whole lot more simple.
Do things get unnecessarily complicated because people are trying to build in more security or redundancies in that security?
I think so. Yes, it's kind of like the typical thing, and I'm sure you're even probably aware of this. Like in a commercial setting, if you have an IT person, they tend to, and our instinct is always to lock everything down as hard as you can, completely, make it, it doesn't matter if it's really hard on our users. Or whatever, but we have to have everything totally secure. But with some of the new technology that we're able to deploy, like they had an antivirus and a backup, and that was it. They didn't have EDR, they didn't have a managed SOC, they didn't have they didn't even have the immutable backup. So
see, that would be the thing that I think these medical offices would be most immutable backups. If something happens, everything there for your patient is still there.
Yeah, even just the way they virtualized their server was just way complicated. So so we just kind of unwound everything and kind of rebuilt it, and everything's running faster, running smoother. The ladies at the front are way happier with us.
Nice.
It was a good way to go about it. So we were able to, and I think this is kind of the other part that I think really kind of sets us apart. Just even the way that things look. So in a dental office or really any office in general, but this is a brand new office. There was new construction going on. There's all this stuff, and there's just wires everywhere, and I mean even just down to like dressing wires out and using those. We have some sitting over here. The stick on cable trays for that go on the wall that just hide your cables and stuff. Like it's just little stuff like that.
Small things to be tidy. Small things that maybe separate scales of professionals.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. So the doctor's wife, she's very particular, rightfully so, about how everything was, and Jason and I went in and spent a couple hours literally just kind of cleaning stuff up and dressing cables out, and she came in about halfway through that process and she goes, oh my gosh, I didn't even know you could clean it up, or I didn't even know it would look this good. So it was a cool experience. So another kind of new thing that came from this office, and there are some you have to be really careful with how you do this, is security cameras. So they are actually putting cameras in, and this isn't the only office. It's the first one that we've encountered, but a lot of other offices are actually starting to put just cameras, like dome cameras, in the operatories. not facing the patient, it's behind the patient facing in, just for liability's sake and all that kind of stuff too. Now, of course, there's some additional, kind of waivers you have to sign and things like that, some due diligence, but it is a really good idea. And I honestly didn't even really consider it for the reasons that like a doctor would consider it. So, it's just little stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're constantly learning how to do this thing better. So
Yeah, and I think that's where we've been hammering on HIPAA regulations and the new rule making process that's going on. I was looking at that. It still looks like that rule is waiting to be published, if it's going to be published. But just making good choices and thoughts about how to manage your maybe employee flow or patient flow, and making sure you're hitting on those things that keep you HIPAA compliant or work into your security.
Yeah, for sure. And then another fun story. I'm pulling it up here so I don't give you the wrong name. So this was another fun thing. So they started off with cloud-based practice management software. And we have another general dentist that's on this. Now, this is an endodontist, so they're a little more specific. Like, he only does root canals and usually takes on a little more complicated, cases, things like that. So they were on this general dentistry practice software, and he hated it. It just wasn't working well for him. It's great for a general dentist, but not for his specific field. And so we even took the time to help him find the specific software that he's using. So we switched from a cloud version to it's called PBS Endo, but it's an actual like endodontist specific software. And I was working this weekend getting it all set up with them, and getting the server reconfigured and all that stuff. So it's just another leg up that I think that we're able to provide, just because we have so much
Third-party software assistance. Making sure that all the third-party softwares you're using, because I'm guessing the chairs are probably tied in to something a certain way that's tied into something. Everything has to talk and commingle together, and that's where Two Fish comes in. And instead of just looking at the problem you have, diving in a little bit deeper, and taking a look at the ecosystem. How is everything working together, and does something need to be managed so that other things will run faster? But just the entire story you've been telling is about maybe solving problems that the owner doesn't know they have yet, or making things run better that the employees just think you're great because you come in and do that for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then kind of a fun close to the story. The whole reason we got this got the introduction in the first place, and I'm not gonna call anybody out, but the software vendor, and they provide, it's one of the big ones, but they provide all of the chairs, the vacuum, the hand pieces, all of that stuff that they need. They do all of that stuff for dental offices. Well, the guy that was doing all the installs is the one that made the introduction for us, and they provide managed services as a company, but he recommends us over even their internal stuff. And it's just because we have so much experience with them and with dentists in general, and so we're able to. We have a really good relationship with those kind of people too, and we're able to kind of be the preferred vendor, whenever possible, which is really cool. So that's like the kind of a cool wrap up to that story. But that's in general, that's kind of how we want to be, is the preferred vendor for especially dental offices and endodontics and all those kind of folks, because we really are good with it.
Well, once you speak the language, it's so much easier to get in and have those conversations.
Absolutely.
And dive further into whatever topic you need to have about their security, about building something up, or if you need to rewire. Those are always, you've got the in to have those at the right level.
Yep. Matter of fact, he called me right before we hopped on this. So he was at another dental office and needed help with something.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's what we're hoping.
Absolutely.
What else? Is there anything? We're just kind of hitting on a few things, and I know your wife Jamie wants to come in and help us on the next one, or one of these where we're targeting and talking about dental offices. And Dave, I think Dave has something queued up for us to in the show with. It's a customer testimonial, and you know, it goes into from the customer side about how their experience of working with Two Fish and how things have gone. But man, I don't have anything else. If you're ready to wrap up and move to that.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good intro to the series. So,
I think
yeah.
it is too, and we really hope you'll enjoy it. Again, we're live. We're going to be live every other Tuesday, but we're going to use our Facebook and all of our socials to push that much heavier and make sure you're not trying to tune in on days when maybe we're not going to be on, and that gives us a little bit of a chance to free up our summer and not spend quite so much time in our little studio here in the shop.
Yeah, I've got 6 kids in a youth group this summer, so we're we're pretty busy this summer. So.
Man is busy all the time.
Yeah.
But hey, we really appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for spending some time with us. And Dave, if you want to introduce them to the video, we'll check with you next time. Thanks for tuning in to Two Fish Technologies, Two Fish Tuesdays.
Hi, my name is Eddie Sauer. I am one of the owners here at Shemin Dental Group with Nathaniel Averett. I've been practicing for 37 years, and I would say that the thing that kind of sets us apart a little bit is we do everything high-tech that we possibly can, from making crowns in a day to placing implants to all of these other things. And the thing about it is the amount of computer needs